Good morning, first grade, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time of day it is that you are watching this video. I hope you had a beautiful day or are going to have a beautiful day. I just wanted to say that I missed you guys so much. I wish we could be in the art room creating art right now, but we're just going to have to settle for creating artwork in our houses, and we get to show our parents or our siblings our beautiful artwork. So this week, what we're going to be learning about is analogous colors, and we're going to be doing it in the style of Kandinsky, who was an abstract artist. He was actually called the father of abstract art, but he really wasn't the father. He just helped create it. So it was really cool that we get to study him, and I hope you enjoy the video. I hope it brings some new topics that we haven't talked about, or it reminds us of some familiar topics that we have talked about. So without further ado, let's continue on with the video. Can't wait to see your artwork. Let's have a lot of fun this Monday morning or Monday evening or Monday afternoon creating some beautiful masterpieces. See you. We're going to be working with analogous colors today. So analogous colors, if we've never heard of that, I know we've heard of warm colors and cool colors and color families, but we haven't really heard of analogous colors. So analogous colors, if we look at my handy dandy sketchbook, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit closer. Analogous colors are colors that are next to each other in the rainbow. They're like colored neighbors. So red and orange are colored neighbors. Orange and yellow are colored neighbors. Green and blue are colored neighbors. Blue and purple are colored neighbors. So for this project, you can choose any 3 colored neighbors. So I've put right here all the different kind of neighbors that we could pick, the different kinds of patterns, right? So we have red, orange, and yellow, orange, yellow, and green, yellow, green, and blue, green, blue, and purple, blue, purple, and pink. So you can pick any of these 5 choices that I have right here. So I'm going to leave it here for a second so you can pick out those crayons. We're going to be using crayons for this project. If you don't have crayons, you can always use colored pencils, but no markers, my friends. So once you have your color selections picked, let's get started on our project. So you may be thinking, what are we going to be working on, Ms. Revelis? Well, I will let you know right now. We're going to be working on these flowers that are based off of this artist named Kandinsky. So I'm going to show you on my phone. So I know it's difficult to see, but this is Kandinsky. And so he was a man that actually is what they call the father of abstract art. So abstract art is art that doesn't look like anything. Like it doesn't look like a flower, it doesn't look like a house, it doesn't look like a person. It just is colors and shapes, and it's interesting. So this is one study that he did that you've probably seen around maybe, but it's called a circle study or concentric circle study. And so he used circles. He actually used watercolor and crayon like we do in class, and he made these interesting types of circles for his artwork, and he put them in square frames. So what we're going to be doing is using the circle idea that he had, kind of that layer of circles, to make interesting flowers on that small little square that I have for you, right? So this is what we're going to be using. I've made one already, so it looks kind of fun and interesting, different, right? And so I used analogous colors. My analogous colors were orange, yellow, and green. And then I made these cool, interesting patterns with Sharpie and a pencil. So we're going to start first with our analogous colors. So I want you to pick what are those 3 analogous colors you're going to be working on. Since I used orange, yellow, and green in this one, I think I want to use a couple different colors. So I'm going to use yellow, green, and what color do I need next? Yeah, I need blue. So yellow, green, and blue. So first I'm going to start with my blue, because I actually want to go the opposite this time. I want to start with blue in the middle, then green, and then yellow. They're still in order, just flipped. So I'm going to start with a nice blue circle in the middle of my page. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, just has to be a circle. Let me zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so I have a nice blue circle. Then I'm going to take my green, because that's the next color, And I'm going to draw, as best I can, another circle, and then I'm going to use my crayon to fill it in. And then my last color is going to be that yellow. It's a nice bright yellow. So remember, when you're coloring your circles, they should take up a lot of your page. And you need to make sure that we're coloring as best as we can, trying to make nice, even circles. But if they're not perfect, that's okay, right? We're working on our art skills, so we make them the best that we can. And there we go. So now I have my 3 circles. And now I'm ready to draw the rest of my flower. So on this flower, I used nice scallop, right? That's that kind of like, they look like hills or rainbows. That's the kind of petal that I use, but that's not the only petal that exists for a flower. So there's many different types of petals that we can use. Like we can have those scallop petals. We can also use kind of like a sunflower petals that are pointy. You can also add different patterns inside of your petals. So if this is my circle, see? I can also use maybe like a dandelion has these nice kind of, they're kind of like little stems coming out and then you blow them away. So I could do that on around my flower. So it's really up to you. If you want to go take a look at some flowers and see what kind of different petals they have, it can be curved, it can be pointy, they can be like a dandelion. So it's really up to you if you want to include a leaf. Miss Ravelis on hers, on mine I also included these curly cues just for fun and some dots. So it's really up to you the types of patterns you want to include in your project. But the first thing we need to do is start with our petals. So for this one, I think I'm going to do a combination of these pointy ones and these kind of like dandelion ones. I always use my pencil first because if I make a mistake, I can always erase it. So I'm going to do a nice pointed petal all around my flower. And if your petals jump off your page, that's okay. So there we go. I've got all my petals ready. And then I want to include some of those dandelion kind of petals. And I can even include some of those fun patterns on the inside of my petals. So maybe I want to include some more triangles inside just a couple of my petals. The more details you add to your drawing, the more interesting it's going to look. So we want to add different kinds of patterns. Maybe you want to do polka dots inside of your leaves. Maybe you want to do hearts or stars. Maybe you want to make a checkered pattern or not. It's up to you. And there we go. So now that I finished and I like my design, I think it's interesting, I'm going to take a Sharpie and outline it. Now, if you don't have a Sharpie at home, you can use a black marker, but the black marker isn't going to work when we go over our crayon. So Sharpie works best. Remember, we don't put it on ourselves. We don't put it on the table. We don't put it on our faces or in our mouths, right? We're just using it for the paper. So now I'm going to carefully go over my lines. And then we're going to see my flower come to life.
I'm even going back and adding some extra designs. So it's really up to you to be super creative. I know we're so good at being creative in art class with all of our interesting patterns and our interesting designs that we choose to make when we're creating our artwork. So bring that to this project and you'll see that your flower starts to come to life and look a lot different. So now that I finished my flower, I finished all the edges, I can go in and add some extra details just like in this one, right? So I added some polka dots in the middle on the yellow, and then I outlined my orange circle and added some small little lines. So I'm going to do something similar. This will only work if you use a Sharpie. If you use a marker, the crayon, because it's made out of wax, it's just going to let the ink sit on it, and then when you touch it, it's going to get on your fingers. So you really want to use a Sharpie and then let it dry. So I think I'm going to outline my blue circle, and then I think instead of that kind of little lines that I did on the first one, I'm going to do a zigzag kind of star in the middle. And then I think I want to do some polka dots, but going in both of them. And maybe even a star in the middle. And there we go. So now I have this cool, interesting flower along with my other cool and interesting flower. So I can't wait to see which analogous colors that you pick. I'm so excited. If you have any questions, please have your parents email me. You can always ask questions in art if you're not sure about something. Remember to use crayons, a pencil, and if you have one, a Sharpie at home. And then have your parents email me a picture of this so I can give you a nice grade for your beautiful, beautiful art. Okay, thank you so much, first grade. Can't wait to see you again in the classroom and so we can be creating art. Have a great rest of your week. I miss you so much. Bye.